Hey everybody, so I've pulled one card from you today. This one is from one of my newer decks, Magicians, Martyrs, and Madmen Tarot. This is a really cool deck. Each one is representative of a different person in true life, I believe, that is relatable to the individual card. So today, you've pulled number 9, the Hermit. Edward Kelley is the name. Kind of looks like Santa Claus on here because he's dressed in red. He's got the white hair and white beard. Perfect for December, right? And happy December 1st to everybody. All right, let's read about this. So the Hermit, Major Arcana, and this is Edward Kelley. He was an Irish alchemist and a ritual magician who was born in 1555. And worked closely with fellow occultist and alchemist Dr. John Dee. See card X in the Major Arcana, or 10, which would be the Wheel of Fortune. Kelley claimed to have extraordinary powers, including the ability to communicate with angels and create the Philosopher's Stone. Harry Potter, anybody? I think that was. Or that was the Sorcerer's Stone, my bad. Look at me mixing up stuff. This reminds me of that. So Kelley and Dee spent their first years together practicing scrying or staring into reflective surfaces in an attempt to divine the future. They also performed magic rituals to connect with angels. There is evidence they sometimes conducted seances in graveyards to connect with spirits of the dead. While traveling through Europe, they gave demonstrations of their magical talents to monarchs and nobles, mostly in Germanic countries. The two magicians eventually parted ways, and Kelley was arrested by Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II for killing one of his court officials with an alchemical potion. That doesn't sound too good. So, that's your Hermit, Edward Kelley, a magician of sorts. But there's a little bit more noted down here, so let's see what it says. The Hermit embodies the alchemical traditions and the quiet solitude of an occult philosopher. But the divinatory meaning of the card is usually somewhat darker: treason, deception, and corruption. The lantern carried by this figure may be used to illuminate the truth, while leaving the magician obscured in shadow. So, much darker card than it's normally. But we can also talk about, what the Hermit means normally. So first let me say Major Arcana. The Hermit is part of the Major Arcana. And the Major Arcana is different from the Minor Arcana in that these represent the major life changes that occur for people. These are the big changes. As, compared to the Minor Arcana, the 4 suits, those are your day-to-day activities. Those are small day-to-day changes that come and go. That's just life. But these are the big things in life. So this is the Hermit. Now the Hermit is number 9. 9 can be about attainment, but the Hermit himself, yes, he carries a lantern, usually with the Star of David in it, and he's usually alone, he's usually somewhere up high. It's always about reflecting inward. The Hermit is usually very isolated because he is seeking more of a reflection of inside. It's about sometimes it's about doing that shadow work. Sometimes it's about just kind of reflecting on your own life, your own choices, and, what could I have done better? How are my decisions affecting me? It's asking those hard questions, calling yourself out. And, once the Hermit does some deep reflecting of himself, it's just another way of growing. And you realize, you make peace with it. You process all these things that you've done, and you come out the other side going, I'm either satisfied and I have no regrets with what I've done, or, I had some regrets, but I have to make peace with what is and move on and do things differently going forward. So there's going to be things like this that occur. So the Hermit is just, some people naturally withdraw, and the Hermit can be a sign of withdrawal too. Like sometimes you go through serious traumas in your life, or things happen like breakups and different things, and you want to withdraw. You don't want to be around people so much. It could definitely be a card. This is a card for a Virgo. Earth signs for sure, if that relates to you. And it's also a sign for people that are like introverts. Because, you know, you don't want to be, you're not people-y. You don't want to be around people. You tend to be better by yourself. You tend to be very independent and do your own thing. You like the peace, the quiet, and being able to do things for yourself. It's not that you don't need anybody. It's not that you don't want anybody. It's just that, you know, you kind of like having your own space and freedom. But you're very selective about who you bring into your life. So the Hermit has a lot of meaning. So take what you will from what I've said and what was said from the guidebook and from Edward Kelley's life. You know, I'm assuming that since he was arrested, he probably was put to death for the murder, for killing somebody with a potion. It didn't say he did it on purpose, but I don't know. Maybe we should look that up and find out, right? I'd be interested to know. All right. But that is your card for today, and, you know, I hope that you take that meaning with you and it makes a difference. Good luck.